So this time he's sitting up here.
This time I'm sitting.
Coke plant.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of safety videos.
This morning he was sitting down
changed
there and
the-
he was
changed
much
the
happier.
color.
Was there
It
when,
changed the
Oh,
Governor
what was the meeting
Well,
this
they did.
morning?
Utility Commission.
Utility.
He's here representing the
You get to keep the blue one.
Salvation Army.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we're Sunoco. Got excited.
We are live.
It is 4 o'clock too. It is time, so. The Municipal Planning Commission for January 9th, 2025 will now come to order. Mrs. Blankenhorn, please call the roll.
Mayor Starr,
Here.
Mr. Salyers.
Here.
Mrs. Ellsworth,
Here.
Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Swallow,
Here.
Mr. Deal,
Here.
Mr. West. We do have a
We
quorum.
do have a quorum. Just as a matter of procedure, I like to go over this with every time we have a meeting. This is the purpose of the MPC is to balance the public good with private property rights and interests. Also, the commission carries out all of the powers and duties conferred upon it by the City of Mount Vernon's zoning ordinance and other ordinances and laws of the state of Ohio. This is a public meeting. There are rules of decorum that we follow. We're committed to the democratic process, individual rights of expression, robust debate, and tolerance for different viewpoints. The following general rules of civility are expected, including addressing others in a respectful manner, no insulting, personal attacks, intimidating, or offensive communications, no harassment, no willful destruction or damage of property, and no disruptive behavior. Please silence your cell phones or electronic devices and refrain from private conversations during the meeting. If you need to come and go throughout the meeting, please do so in the least disruptive manner possible. And if you are offering public comment today, you must first be sworn in by reading the statement at the lectern. And we ask that you keep your comments to 4 minutes unless you're actually presenting where we may ask questions. Again, the purpose is to oversee that the law is followed and planning concurs within which the spirit of those laws and regulations have been adopted by the City of Mount Vernon and State of Ohio. So, with that, Commission members, you had in your packets the Municipal Planning Commission meeting minutes from the special meeting on November 21st. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? They are approved. Okay, we have one item on the agenda for this afternoon. Mrs. Blankenhorn, will you review the item, and then we'll have you come up and talk about it.
2025 MPC 01, an alley vacation petition. Vacate the 16 feet by 150 feet portion of platted alley north of Kirk Street between East Street and South Mackenzie Street per the submitted survey.
And are you going to be speaking on the matter, I assume?
Yes.
You will come up and read the statement there. And if you wouldn't mind pulling that microphone down a little bit closer to you, that would
Sure.
be great.
I'm a teacher. You probably would have been able to hear me even with that. All right. Let's see. My name is Shane Philhart. My address is 201 Kirk Street. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
Thank you. Welcome. Please explain what you'd like to do, Mr. Philhart.
All right. The property between my home and two of my neighbors is designated as an alley space. It is 8 feet of my property line from that and 150 feet back. So my two neighbors and I share it. What we'd like, because it seems the utilities don't utilize it anymore, because we've had to replace a telephone pole in the back and they came in through a different way that was closer to the road. They had proposed the idea to have the alley vacated so that we actually have as part of our property the yard that we're already caring for.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Philhart?
Not really.
Any questions from
yeah.
this group up here? We don't have anyone in the audience who would be speaking on matters public hearings, so we generally ask for people who are opposed to this, or people who are in support, or
Right.
people who are in general. So, see no need to swing that hammer here. So, Mrs. Blankenhorn, did you, well, before I close the public portion of this, are there any other questions or concerns or comments for Mr. Philhart?
So are there 4 houses that this would impact?
No, 3.
3,
Because
okay.
I actually have 2 lots
Okay.
adjoined. My backyard is one separate lot. And then my neighbors to the east are Fred Honeycutt, the jeweler, and a former police officer. And they were both perfectly on board with doing that since we're already mowing it and all of that.
And is the electric the only utility that's back there?
No.
We have other
There are
utilities.
4 utility easements on
Okay.
this property.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a 12-inch sewer main that extends the whole length of this alley,
Yeah.
street, or whatever it is.
Okay.
In addition, there is a gas line alley, easement, there is a telephone easement, and there is also the electric easement. Runs the entire length of this alley.
Right. But when they've, if you don't mind, when they have had to service the electric, they came in off of Mackenzie to replace the entire pole.
Yeah, but the issue is, there's a the electric company has not done anything to extinguish their easement.
Okay.
So they still own it. And so that's still valid. Even though they chose to do something else at that point, they can still choose to extend down here with the easement.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Our electric actually comes
I
from the
just-
front for our house.
Anytime there's utilities involved, it's very, very touchy, and we don't want to repeat measures that have been taken in the past.
Sure.
So there's a healthy bit of caution, I think, at this particular point in time. So any other questions then for Mr. Philhart before I close the public portion of this? Public involvement portion. Okay, that part will be, we'll close the public participation portion of this, and we'll go down the checklist of items. Mrs. Blankenhorn, were there any communications received either through phone calls or in writing regarding this?
There was nothing.
Okay. Mr. Ball, engineering concerns.
Well, we would not be using this as a road, but it is a 12-inch sewer main, so we would need continued access to it. So we would not allow any structures, gates, buildings, or anything to be placed on the city's easements.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, the fence I have up and the shed I have is well back from that. And my other neighbors don't seem inclined to build anything.
so
The one.
doesn't seem to make. I mean,
Well,
it's just
Fred
like
has a fence, but if it's left to his devices, it'll collapse here in a few years because he doesn't take care of it.
Yeah, it's just like a tree lawn. So I mean,
Yeah.
we don't mow tree lawns for individuals, so it's an unimproved alley. So it wouldn't be a lot of difference because the easements are going to cover the whole. Whether it's vacated or not, it's going to basically be what it is now.
Any other engineering concerns? The sewer line is what worries me, being able to get back in there. That really worries me. Do we know how old that line is?
We don't have dates on that
Well,
part.
it's all right.
I mean, you know, we've replaced the water lines in this area. Those have aged out. We don't have a lot of record of sewer backups that I know of. So
Okay.
it's probably the same age as the homes. Don't know.
Okay. Mr. Braun, legal concerns that you would have with regard to this request?
I have concerns about the other 3 easements. We don't know if there are gas lines in there. We don't keep a record of the gas lines.
No.
We also don't know if they've chosen to bury fiber optic or anything else there. You know, even though the pole doesn't go all the way to Kirk Street anymore, it still could. I mean, we've had concerns with vacating easements where there are vacating alleys where there are this many utility easements in the past. And I think that that's good to show caution with this.
Okay. Any other comments for the general good of this particular item?
Sir?
Yes.
So I have a concern with regard to zoning. I
Sure.
see this often when something is vacated and there's a utility in it. We get requests to build a fence because people think they do own it, and so they think they can build something on it. And it's a constant battle, trying to explain to them that there is a utility underground that they can't see, but we need access to it at all times, and it creates a lot of issues.
Per Ohio Revised Code, Section 723.041, public utility companies and other easement holders retain their rights to maintain, operate, remove infrastructure located in the vacated area unless explicitly relinquished by agreement. That's even when a municipality vacates an alley, existing easements typically remain in effect.
Right.
Yep.
I'm familiar with the code. I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the situation is, I think, as Mrs. Blankenhorn just indicated, we have not one, but what, four?
Well, to my knowledge, where the line travels, all we have is water and sewer back there. The gas travels along the front and down East Street. Because they mark it 2 or 3 times a year when they're doing something. So gas lines are always marked out front and along the side street. So they're not even back there.
The
Because
easement
we had
exists
to-
in the alley.
The easement is there.
Right. And, I mean, I have no issue. You can see, even by the aerial shot, my fence is well back. Now, my neighbor Fred, yeah, he's got crap right up to the edge. I had to chop down 2 posts his dad put in the ground with concrete because they were actually on that line.
Yeah. You know, we don't, one of the issues we run into is that because we don't have a full-time zoning inspector, we miss many people who decide to go out and build fences, build other things, and then we're left with the really unpalatable discussion of making people remove things because they think it's their property, you know, and so it's another issue that we deal with on, unfortunately, a regular basis.
City council did fund city inspector, which will take over a lot of the responsibilities of a zoning enforcement officer and a utilities inspector. So keep that in mind as we move forward with doing a lot of these. I think in the past, as Order already indicated, we've made these decisions in a good neighbor attempt as opposed to a thoughtful approach. So
Sure.
Anything else before we move on here? And Mrs. Blankenhorn, this is a recommendation to the city council then?
Correct.
Okay, that's what we will be voting on, sending a recommendation to city council then. So,
Could I ask a question, sir?
Sure.
The reason that you are asking for this to be vacated is?
Basically, we had just spoken amongst the neighbors that are involved here. And having been there now, going on 12 years, we've never had that easement utilized for any utility whatsoever. But we have seen them come off of Mackenzie because it's a straighter shot and shorter. So logistically, it worked better for the electric company. So we had said, well, since we're already taking care of it, why don't we petition the city? And I paid for the survey, which, why did the price of those go up? Last time I had one done was back in 2013 when we bought the house, and it was less than half of the $900 I paid this time. But in so doing, I mean, I had them fill out the paperwork and explain to them what was happening and all that type of stuff. And for us, it was just a matter of, well, it's 8 feet that we have to take care of anyway. I have no intention of ever building anything on it or doing anything like that. Because, like, when I built the fence, we stayed enough back from the street and away from the property line as not to impede on
I
anything
noticed
like
that when I drove by.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that you're operating under the advice of the electric company, but the concern
Sure,
that I hear is the city and the other easements.
sure.
So I would, yeah.
I mean, I have no qualms with the easement still being there. That's no big deal. I'm accustomed to that type of thing in previous properties I've had.
And-
But
and
as far
you-
as
yeah, you would-
actual,
You would, excuse me for interrupting, you
Sure.
would be fine with that, but you're already mentioning that your neighbor is not as cognizant of
Well-
things as you are, and what happens when somebody sells that house and the next person comes in?
right? And I understand that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? And we will entertain a motion.
No one?
From someone other than me.
So moved.
So moved for,
For approval to go
Okay.
to city council?
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
A
Approval to
recommendation.
vacate?
To vacate?
to vacate.
That- to make
Recommend-
that
Okay,
recommendation.
recommendation to vacate.
It's been recommended to vacate this alley and send the recommendation to city council. Is there a second to put it on the table to discuss?
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the vacation of this alley to send as a recommendation. So, any discussion?
Call the question.
Lacey, did you get the,
I didn't know who seconded, but he said
Oh.
Mr. Sawyer's did.
Kennedy.
no discussion? Mrs. Blankenhorn, or this is the, let's just, we are, this is the motion is to recommend to city council to vacate. Got it, okay.
That was
Mrs.
what I got.
Blankenhorn, please call the roll.
Mayor Starr.
No.
Mr. Sawyers.
No.
Mrs. Ellsworth.
No.
Mr. Swallow.
No.
Mr. Deal.
No.
Unfortunately, it is not vacate for you, sorry, sir, but.
The recommendation is not.
Recommendation is not recommended.
Council, you will have the opportunity to make your case to city council. for
Oh,
them
I
to-
will.
Yeah.
When is the meeting?
This will have to go to council. Council will then put it on its calendar. It will have to have a public hearing. Yeah, it'll have to have a public hearing. And so that, it will probably be, it'll be read twice in February, and then probably it'll come to a vote at the first meeting in March, is likely the way it'll work, because the public hearing has to be advertised for 30 days, and so it won't, it may be the last meeting in February. It depends on how, once it gets to council and how they choose to deal with it, so,
Okay.
all right?
Well, being a math teacher, my view right now is I've, pardon my French, pissed away $900 and 50 to file the paperwork. So I'm not one to waste nearly $1,000. I'm sure you guys can understand.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, any
Thank you.
other order of business?
I guess the question, do we have a procedure for this on the website or anything? Because I think this went to council, it did not come to engineering until after he'd already done a bunch of work on it. So if there was a.
I was told I needed a survey even to submit and propose this,
Yeah.
which is kind of bass-ackward.
And
which-
normally we do a consultation on these things, which I
Yeah,
don't know.
that would
why
have saved me $950.
What, I'm not sure what the question is that you're asking
Do
here.
we have any instructions on the website?
Well, on the
or-
website, there's, scroll down, it's good.
That tells you may be peeing into the wind if you try to do this.
Well, no, it is that there are instructions, but it's a page attached in the packet.
first time I heard about this was when Mel had it in council chambers, which
Yeah,
seemed
well,
weird that it was
is
submitted.
that, if you take a look,
I realize there's procedure baked into city code, but that's not
yeah,
easy to
and,
find.
and what happens is,
Where did you get the application?
Here at the city
Do you know
building.
what office?
it was attached in the packet.
Well, I
I
know,
want to
but
say
he
it was
would have
sent to me by your secretary.
Judy.
Okay.
No, he's pointing at the mayor,
Yeah.
Yes.
so from Todd.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So maybe we need to send them down to,
They all need to go through engineering.
yeah, because,
Seems
there was something
better.
about the statute where, or the ordinance where it's actually filed with council. And then council, by rule, then goes and forwards it to municipal planning.
We changed that last year to start with municipal plan.
Yeah, but still, they keep getting filed with council. And so we should put something on there that they should go talk to engineering first.
Yeah, because like when we've had other ones, we'll go and Lacey can coordinate with the power company, check for easements, and we can coordinate with the gas company. We can provide a, hey, this is, you got a shot at this or not, ahead of time is what we try to do. But the first time I heard about this was Mel was, it was on his desk in
Yeah.
council chambers, and he didn't know what to do with
Yeah.
it. I think at that point, you'd already done a whole bunch of work. So.
Because as I said, Todd just told me what the procedure is to file paperwork and what I needed, and
Yeah.
that was all that was
Yeah.
offered up.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I know there's a lot of stuff.
All right, well,
That is a recent change that it starts with planning commission. Right?
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, at this point, I mean, we can't, you'd be going to city council without a recommendation from MPC. That's what the internal system will address. So,
Okay. When is their next meeting? Because I have another bone I want to propose to them.
to city
With
council
regard, oh yeah,
on Monday.
okay.
7:30.
vacation or another?
Oh no, no. This is
Okay.
about water and being overcharged when I water my lawn. Because they charge you sewage, even though it's not going near the drain.
You can go to the water office and ask for a deduct meter.
Yeah, they don't
They don't do that.
seem to offer that.
We used to do that.
It's still in code.
Yeah.
They don't offer anything for us.
Yeah.
When I've gone
they
there.
have,
There's paperwork that you fill out.
right, you can get a deduct meter. for
Are you
filling-
sure?
Well, it's in the rules.
If the people in the
They
water,
basically told me tough.
well,
that's how it is.
we will have a discussion with the people in the water billing office,
Okay.
because that is not the way it's supposed to work.
Okay, Monday night is that, and you want to reach out
7.
to Todd again, you can speak on matters of public concern during the legislative session.
Hold on one second.
Wait a minute.
Did you go through the chain of command when you went to the water billing office?
I went to the window.
Okay, so when you were told that there's no credit available, did you ask to speak to the manager of the water billing
I
office?
said, is there anyone else I can talk to? And at the
And
time,
they
she
told you
said no.
And then you just accepted that, so then you're gonna go
Well, I
immediately
didn't have
city
time
council.
to stand there screwing around at a window.
Okay, but you do have time to come to city council?
Today I did, yeah.
Okay, this isn't city council.
No.
So what I'm gonna tell you is
Well,
that
that's
there's,
in
sir,
the evening.
there's a chain of command
Mm-hmm.
that can address these problems internally. So you want to come here and explain about how you just spent $1,000, which I can appreciate, and we can handle internal processes, but I'm not going to let you throw employees of the city under the bus because you didn't bring it to the administration's attention to address it in the first place.
Okay, because
Okay.
I had no idea,
Okay.
other than going to a
Okay.
meeting, that there was a chain of command for the water department.
Of course there is.
Well, you say that.
I'm in that chain of command.
Okay, I'm glad to know.
Okay.
Okay,
Why don't we,
I think we've accomplished all the business we need to take care of today, so is there anything else? And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned. Thank you all.
Yeah. Hey, Rob,
Yep.
does he want this? I don't know, is that your jacket?
Yep.
Okay, all right, making sure it wasn't.
Everybody's happy today.
Well,
I guess I was confused because it doesn't matter either way.